Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mommy's Reading. I'm Randa and I am reading. Not right now, but I have read and I hope to read again in the near future. So if you've seen my Instagram, you know that today I'll be reviewing Emma Hart's Bookworm's Guide to Faking It. If you have not read Emma Hart's books, I do recommend that you do so. I really enjoy most of her books. She writes a romantic comedy, and they are low angst and really high on snark. So who doesn't love snark, right? I mean, I don't love it from my kids.
That's just great. Yeah, it's just great.
I have teenagers. I have two teenagers. I get a lot of snark. In real life, it's not so great.
What are you doing?
I really like the color on you. I think maybe it would do good. Maybe in the 70s?
You look like a serial killer.
Ha! That's so funny. No, it's not.
What are you wearing? Well, maybe they did it back in the elder age, like when you were younger, but nobody does that anymore. That sounds like something Hitler would say.
But in books, it's awesome. And Emma Hart writes snark really well. There's one of hers that I actually just recently read again, or put in my queue again, so I'll be reading it again soon. But it's from her Experiment series, and I really liked those. It's about two friends. One owns a matchmaking business, and the other has started like a, not online dating, but it's like a hookup app, I guess. And so there's a little more to it than that, but it's funny. But if you haven't checked those ones out, those ones are worth a read too. So this is her Bookworm series. The first one I read a couple months ago, I guess. And this one just came out just recently, maybe a week ago. And then the third one will be out, I think, probably early next year. So if you want to know what I thought of the first one, I might go back and do a review on that one. But I hadn't decided to start a BookTube channel at that point, so I do not have a review ready to share. But I will tell you that it was good enough to where I wanted to read the second one, so I pre-ordered it. So let's jump right in. This series focuses around three friends. Pretty typical. These three girls, women, these three strong, powerful, independent women. They own a brick and mortar bookstore together, and they are bookworms, obviously. So that was the main draw for me to begin with, because, you know, who doesn't want to read a story about bookworms, right? Because we're bookworms. So this particular character is Holly. She's kind of the control freak of the group, which apparently you kind of need in order to run a business. You need a creative one, you need a technical one, and you need an organizer, like a manager. So there you have it. So Holly is their control freak. Just right off the bat, if you check out the cover, I love the cover, just her peeking up over the book. It's great. And then the blurb So even if you don't read the books, check out the blurbs because they're funny. And all three of them kind of follow the same theme. So it's fun. They look fun. I've also checked out the reviews. I looked at those before I read it, not before I bought it, because I went ahead and clicked to pre-order, just based on the cover and the blurb, and just who the author is. I always enjoy Emma Hart, but the reviews I did read before I started the book, and I went back and checked into them again before I did this review. And I feel like they're pretty honest for the most part. She got mostly 5 and 4 star reviews. There was 1 or 2 3-star and 1 2-star. So I feel like they were pretty accurate. So I think you can trust them on this one. So what did I think of this book? So let's get into what I liked first. Okay, I already said I like the cover. I love the blurb. I love the premise. I love the hero. The hero in this book is Sebastian. So he and Holly, who is the heroine, they were childhood friends and were friends up until prom night, their senior year. And then that night, something happened that completely ruined their friendship. And so he went off to become a professional baseball player soon after that, and they have not spoken since. It has now been, I think, between like 7 or 8 years. They have not spoken. He's tried to, but she doesn't want to talk to him, and so he just kind of gave up. But now he's back for indefinite amount of time because he's injured and he's come home for his recovery, and he wants to explain what actually happened all those years ago. Great premise, cute start, right? What else did I love about Sebastian? Sebastian is funny, very patient with Holly, and I like that he's not wallowing in self-pity about his injury. He's very pragmatic about it. He knows that he may not recover, and yet he's okay. You know, I mean, like he's not in self-destruct mode or anything. I liked that he didn't get dark, and instead he's looking for something else to pursue. I love that he's funny. I love that he has curly hair. I think not enough heroes have curly hair. I'm not sure why. I don't know what it is about curly-haired males that gets them kind of shunted to supporting role. I have naturally curly hair, so I support them being main characters. I think it's great. I wish my son had curly hair, but he doesn't. He has his daddy's hair. I encourage more males to have curly hair. I really liked the old folks, the nursing home group, them and their ducks. So there's this whole thing in the series about ducks and them owning these ducks. And the best part, I think, is their names, what they named these ducks. Not to say that like the rest of the book isn't good, but the best part is the names of the ducks. I mean, it's really, they're hilarious. I think maybe Emma Hart may have written this book simply to use those names for the ducks. It would not surprise me. They're great names. What else? I liked Holly. I think most of the time I really enjoyed Holly. Her book nerdiness, is it a word? Can I say nerdiness? But is easy to relate to. She at the beginning of the book, she's reading a book about a love triangle, or a series that has a love triangle in it. And like most of us who have read a love triangle book, you get to the point where you just get fed up with the heroine, just like, you know, how can you feel so strongly about both men? How can you say you love this guy, but you're making out with this guy and you're not sure who the possible baby's daddy is, and just making bad choices. So she feels very strongly about about the way this heroine is in this book that she's reading, and so she ends up throwing the book. We've all done that, right? We've done it. I mean, not with my Kindle, but with paperback books, I've done it. And then though she immediately feels a remorse that she has treated the book that way, and so she picks up the book and she straightens it back out, and she's like, oh, it's not the book's fault that the heroine is stupid. So but then she puts it down. She's like, I need a moment. I need some time away from you. It's not you, it's me. But yeah, I mean, we've all been frustrated, right? And she always has a book with her, as well as her Kindle or her phone, the Kindle app. And there's one part where she actually says something along the lines of, she always finds time to read. There's always some time that she can sketch out somewhere, even if it's just to take her Kindle with her to sit on the toilet. I'm like, hey, I know that because, no joke, I have 4 kids, and so you kind of have to take your chances when you get them. Take what you can get. I will take my book with me to the bathroom, and I will stay in that bathroom as long as it takes to finish a chapter. Mommy's in the bathroom. Mommy's using the potty, guys. But we've all done that, right? That's not embarrassing to admit. You've done that. Come on, you've done that. My favorite parts were probably the text conversations between the 3 women friends, Sailor, Kinsley, and Holly. So yeah, that's what I loved. I loved the writing. I loved the comedy. I loved the hero, and I love Holly. What I did not like about this book, first and foremost, I did not like Holly and Sebastian together, which is hard to imagine because I did like both characters. I just didn't like them together. So Holly, at first, I feel is kind of justified with her snark and the way that she treats Sebastian. I think everyone who reads about what happened that night would think, yeah, he deserved that smackdown, Yeah, don't give him a chance. But then when you find out what really happened, and at first she's like, I can't believe I was so stupid and that I didn't give him a chance to explain that time. Look how much time we wasted and what could have been. So you would think at that point, there would be a turning point, and she would be like, okay, he's a good guy, what I thought happened didn't really, wasn't what really happened, or there was just a misunderstanding, and so I should give him a chance, especially since we were best friends, and it is my fault that we haven't spoken in the last 7 to 8 years. But that's not what happens. Even after it's revealed that he's not the jerk that she thought he was, she still continues to treat him kind of badly. Some of the things she says to him, being in her head, what she's really thinking, but the way she says things to him is just, I don't know. I just didn't think it was right. I don't think that you should talk to somebody that way if you really do like them. You know what I mean? So I had a problem with the way she treated him, but then also I had a problem with why he would continue to pursue her when she's treating him that way. Like he thought it was cute and funny, I guess. And, to a point, I guess, but I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way, really. I'm like, why would you allow someone to treat you this way when you haven't done anything wrong? The air has been cleared. You have been acquitted of all charges. And so why do you let her talk to you this way? And why does she, why, and you have to ask her. She's now that heroine that you're like, I'm going to throw this book because you're making stupid choices. That was her at that point. And yet they still they get together, obviously, because it's that kind of book. So that was my main problem. Second thing, uh, the title of the book is Bookworm's Guide to Faking It. And the description, the blurb, leads you to believe that a fake relationship is the main premise of this book. And it's not that I am a particular fan of fake relationships, but if that's what the blurb says, it's kind of what I'm expecting. And it wasn't. I mean, it happened, but it was like a blip on the radar. Do you know what I mean? It was like a non-issue. So, it was all just another misunderstanding that I don't understand why they didn't clear up. I don't understand the reasoning behind faking it in this story. So I don't think that was explained well. I don't think it was a big enough part of the story, the part that did happen, for it to be the title and for it to be the main part of the description. So I thought that was a little misleading. It made for a good title. I'm guessing that's why it's there. But another thing I just didn't get was why it doesn't explain like why they're faking it. It doesn't make any sense. And at one point she actually says to her friends, this is ridiculous. I don't know why I would do this. And why agree to it? And she actually asked them, well, okay, so why not just correct their assumption or whatever? Why not correct them when your mom introduces us as a couple? Why not just be like, oh, no, we're just friends? I mean, what's the big deal? It would not have ruined his sister's wedding. I mean, I've had a wedding, and I don't think at any point during my wedding, if someone had said, oh, I'm not really dating this person that nobody thought I was dating until like 2 minutes ago, I don't think that would have affected my wedding. I'm just saying, I'd be like, oh, okay, my bad. Hey, I'm married. Did you know? Like it's my wedding. Let's all talk about me. You know what I mean? But I didn't understand it. They said that it would, not to ruin the fantasy for his grandpa, but that was like, his grandpa never seemed to like need that fantasy. His grandpa didn't even have it like shown to us. Like Sebastian comes back to the room to say, oh, by the way, my grandpa thinks we're dating. It wasn't like we see this scene where he would get up, where it explained why his grandpa would be upset if they corrected that assumption that they're not dating. It doesn't make any sense. It didn't make sense. That's it. It doesn't make sense why they continued the charade past the wedding. And it wasn't even that much of a charade. Everybody knew they weren't dating except his grandpa. Everybody knew. And it didn't seem to make any difference. So I thought that was just, I didn't like that. And then the ending. The ending, it's a satisfying ending in that it is a happy for now ending. And you assume it's going to be happily ever after. It's just not a very long book. What I didn't like about the ending was that it was so abrupt. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was literally the first time they get together. They go on a sort of date, even though it's mainly with friends. They go out with friends. And then at the end of the night, they go home together, and that's the end. That's it. They decide, even though she still seems like unsure of whether or not they should be trying to be a couple. Everything's up in the air about whether he's going to be able to go back and play baseball. I don't know, like she didn't seem at all sure, and then suddenly that's the end. They're together, that's the end. So, I mean, satisfying in that they're going to get together, so they got together. Not satisfying in that I would have liked to have seen more of a resolution with her and him, like deciding to be together. That's where I am. But you do get a little snippet at the end to tease for the next book, Bookworm's Guide to Flirting, I believe. Bookworm's Guide to Flirting. And that will be Sailor's book. Oh, One other thing I did not like the relationship dynamic between Holly and Sailor. Sailor is one of those women who's very brash, in your face, you know what I mean? She can be abrasive sometimes, but she's the kind of person who you would think, you know, I will cut you if you hurt my friend. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of vibe she seems to be putting out. Like, you know, very protective and yet very kind of in your face. But that kind of character also seems very loyal to her friends. She was not. She was very unsympathetic. She was very, yeah, she wasn't understanding at all to Holly's feelings before they knew the truth, before any of them knew the truth about what happened that night. Sailor was always kind of like, you just need to get over it, you know, just go out with the guy, you know, get laid, whatever. Stop being a baby, you know, just I just didn't like it. I just did not approve. I thought she would be a better supportive friend. But, you know, she wasn't. I understand maybe they were just trying to make her like a very honest, you know, like brutally honest kind of friend. Like, I know what's best for you kind of friend. And, you know, you just need to get, you know, I know that you guys will work out. He seems to really care about you, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't get that vibe because you don't have that kind of conversation with her. Oh, there it is. I would give the book probably 3 out of 5 stars. I feel like the writing was good. The characters themselves are good. I just think that the execution, the relationship execution just didn't work for me. So, if you've read it, what do you think? Give me a comment. Do you agree? Do you not agree? I'm willing to discuss this. I can change my rating if you have some reasoning behind this. And there were some really good parts of the book. I do recommend that you check it out. It's a short read, easy read. It's a fun book. It is, which is why, I mean, 3 is pretty good. Comment below. Let me know what you thought. I will post my full review on Goodreads. You can check it out there to see my full review. And if you want to check out my own books, you can look at my website, www.randaflannery.com. And I actually have a new book coming out that I'll be talking about in a later episode, but it'll be out New Year's Day. So if you want to check that out, and I will talk to you again soon. See ya.